Hello, friends. Welcome to our channel Elevatria, where we present the invaluable knowledge and stories of books in a simple, interesting, and inspiring way. In today's video, we will talk about a book that can not only change your life, but also inspire you to take steps towards success that will make you think. Yes, I am talking about Darren Hardy's wonderful book, The Compound Effect. Imagine what would happen if your small daily habits and decisions, which may seem ordinary and insignificant, could make your life extraordinary. Have you ever thought about why the impact of a small action grows over time? This is the essence of the compound effect. The magic of small, consistent actions and their profound effect on your life. Success in life does not come from a big magic trick or overnight transformation, but rather from small efforts and daily decisions. Whether it is your health, career, or relationships, the power of the compound effect multiplies your efforts. But friends, the question is, do we understand this truth? Often, we chase immediate results, look for quick fixes, and ignore long-term thinking. This is why sometimes we give up or do not reach our potential. Darren Hardy beautifully explains in this book how we can turn our dreams into reality through discipline, consistency, and the right mindset. Imagine if you become just 1% better every day. In a year, you could be 365% better version of yourself. This philosophy is the soul of this book. It will not only inspire you, but also provide practical strategies to achieve your goals smartly and effectively. This book does not just provide motivation. It also gives you a roadmap. It teaches you how to use small habits and the right decisions in your favor to achieve long-term success. But is it that easy? Is it possible to make discipline and consistency a part of our lives? And if yes, then how? You will find answers to all these questions in this video. So friends, watch this video till the end because we will learn how to apply the principles of the compound effect in our daily lives to achieve extraordinary results. This video will not only make you think, but also inspire you to take action. So let's start this journey where small efforts and decisions will give a new turn to your life. Chapter 1. The Compound Effect in Action. When you look at your life, do you ever think, I can do better than this? Perhaps you have set your fitness, relationship, or career goals many times and then asked yourself, where did I go wrong? This is a question that Darren Hardy raises for his readers. Just think about it. The cold morning air, a cup of coffee in your hand, and a thought, can small habits really change my life? With this thought, Darren begins to explain how the compound effect works. The compound effect starts with small and simple things. These are the very things we often ignore because they seem insignificant. But in reality, these small things are the beginning of the biggest transformations in your life. Let's say there are 3 friends, Sam, James, and Henry. Sam decided to adopt a small positive habit every day. He decided to read 10 pages of self-help books daily and cut 100 calories from his diet. James did not change anything. His life continued as it was. And Henry took the opposite path. He started eating more junk food and increased his time spent in front of the TV. Initially, there is no significant difference in the lives of the 3 friends. Even after the first month, everything seems almost the same. Even after 3 months, there is no dramatic change. But then, after 6 months, Sam's habits start working in his favor. He begins to look a little slimmer, his confidence increases, and positivity reflects in his conversations. On the other hand, James remains the same. There is no significant improvement in his life, but there is no decline either. And Henry is gradually gaining weight. His energy levels are decreasing, and he feels more frustrated. This is the magic of the compound effect. These things do not happen overnight. It is the power of consistency. When you repeatedly practice a small habit, it gradually transforms into great success. But the trick is that you need to have patience. Darren explains that a key element of the compound effect is responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life means accepting that whatever is happening to you is the result of your choices. When you accept that every situation in your life is the outcome of your decisions, you reclaim your power. Imagine what would happen if Sam had made the same choices as Henry. If he had adopted unhealthy habits, his life would have taken the same direction. But he made his small choices his strength. He understood that these choices are significant. Every day we have choices. You decide whether to wake up early or hit the snooze button. You choose whether to waste time on social media or improve your skills. And these small choices define your future. But Darren also explains that the compound effect only works when you are intentional. Without purpose, no habit can be sustained for long. You need clarity about what you want and why you want it. This is what happened with Sam. He set a simple goal and worked on it consistently. He avoided distractions and focused on his priorities. This is why, when others felt stuck in their lives, he was making progress. The compound effect is a principle that can be applied in everyone's life, whether it is health, wealth, or relationships. But it starts with a simple realization. Small things matter. So the next time you think that your small habits do not make a difference, remember that these very habits can be the difference between your success and failure. Darren says, you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. Chapter 2. The Power of Choices. Your life is where it is right now as a result of the choices you have made. Yes, every decision, no matter how small, shapes the direction of your life. But have you ever noticed how you make these choices? Are they conscious decisions or based on habits and comfort zones? This is a question Darren Hardy raises in this chapter and explains that choices are the power that can change your entire life. Imagine you are standing by a beautiful beach. The sea is calm, but slowly the waves are rising. You are given a boat and a compass. This compass represents your choices. You can either use it to navigate in the right direction or ignore it. But whatever you do, your boat will go where your choices take it. Darren explains that most of us are not aware of our choices. We live on autopilot, waking up every day, following the same old routines, repeating the same habits, and then hoping that life will magically change. But have you ever thought about where this autopilot is taking you? Let's say there's a man named Rohit. Every morning, he faces two options. First, to wake up early, work out, and have a healthy breakfast. Second, to sleep in, skip physical activity, and eat processed food. Now, if he chooses the second option on the first day, he may not feel any difference. But if these choices are repeated month after month, year after year, the result can be catastrophic. This is the power of choices. To understand the power of this choice, we must also understand that we often choose comfort. We sacrifice long-term success for short-term pleasure. Think about it. When you are standing in front of chocolate cake, do you remember your fitness goals, or does the temptation of that delicious cake win? These are the small choices that affect your health, career, and relationships. Darren explains that if you want to make a big change in your life, you need to pay attention to your small decisions. These decisions may seem insignificant, but their impact can be huge in the long run. Just like throwing a small pebble into water creates a ripple effect. Your small decisions can bring about big changes in your life. The most important thing in this process is awareness. If you are not aware of your decisions, you will keep making the same choices that are holding you back. Therefore, Darren says you need to recognize your subconscious patterns. You may have noticed that sometimes people blame others. My job doesn't give me time. I don't have resources. My past was very difficult. But Darren reveals a bitter truth. Everything happening in your life is a result of your choices. When you accept this fact, you regain your power. In this chapter, there is a story about a businessman who was continuously facing losses in his company. He consulted many experts, but no solution was found. Then one day, he focused on his habits. He realized that he was working extra hours every day, but most of that time was unproductive. He gradually started changing his choices. He learned to prioritize, eliminated distractions, and began making small intentional decisions. Within a few months, his company became profitable. This is the power of choices. Darren also emphasizes that choices are not limited to your professional life. They are equally important in your personal life. Think about it. When you talk to someone, are you genuinely present, or is your attention elsewhere? When you spend time with your partner, do you give them your full attention, or do you get lost in distractions? These small things define your relationships. Now the question is, how can you improve your choices? Darren says you need clarity. Until you know where you want to go, you cannot make the right decisions. So clearly define your goals. Additionally, discipline is crucial. Once you start making the right choices, You need to stick to them consistently. Initially, it may seem difficult, but as you practice, it will become easier. At the end of this chapter, Darren gives a powerful message. Your choices are the blueprint of your life. Whatever you choose today will create your tomorrow. So consciously and intentionally make every decision. Every small thing in your life, whether it is your habits, your attitude, or your mindset, is a reflection of your choices. Therefore, recognize the power of your choices today and steer your life in the direction you truly want to go. Chapter 3. The Magic of Habits. When you think about your life, do you feel that what you do every day determines the direction of your life? If yes, then it means you have understood the power of habits. Darren Hardy explains in his book, The Compound Effect, that your habits are the biggest reason for your success or failure. But have you ever thought deeply about how your habits are formed and what impact they have on your life? This is the essence of this chapter, the magic of habits. It is morning. The first rays of the sun enter your room. You hear the alarm sound. Now you have two choices. First, you hit the snooze button and continue sleeping. Second, you wake up, get out of bed, and start your day productively. Whatever choice you make gradually becomes your habit. These habits are the silent forces that control every aspect of your life. They become part of your personality and shape your identity. For example, if you eat junk food every day, it harms your health. But if you adopt healthy eating habits, it gradually makes you fit and energetic. Creating habits is not easy, but Darren says the greatest strength of habits lies in consistency. Imagine a person who studies for just 30 minutes every day. Initially, it seems insignificant, but after a year, that person will have studied for 182 hours. This is a cumulative effect. When these habits are practiced over a long time, they yield extraordinary results. But the question arises, how are habits formed? Darren explains it in 3 steps: trigger, routine, and reward. The trigger is the signal that prompts you to start a task. The routine is the behavior you repeat, and the reward is the satisfaction you get from it. Now, here comes the tricky part. Sometimes our bad habits are so deeply rooted in our subconscious that we do not even notice them. For example, scrolling through social media late at night may seem harmless, but it affects your sleep quality, productivity, and mental health. Darren says that if you want to break your bad habits, the first step is to understand their pattern. Changing habits or forming new ones can be uncomfortable at first. Think about how difficult it is to develop the habit of going to the gym. On the first day, you go with full enthusiasm. On the second day, your muscles ache and you feel like giving up. But this is where the magic of consistency works. Darren shares a powerful story in this chapter about a person who developed a habit of writing a gratitude journal for 15 minutes every night. Initially, it felt pointless, but after a few months, he noticed that his mindset had become more positive, his anxiety decreased, and he felt more content in his life. This was a result of just a 15-minute habit. Darren also emphasizes that accountability is crucial with habits. If you want to sustain a habit, you need to hold yourself responsible. Using a habit tracker or sharing your progress with a friend can be helpful. Now, the question is, how can you improve your habits? Darren says you need to take small steps. If you try to change your entire routine at once, you will quickly get tired and give up. Instead, focus on one small habit. For example, if you want to be healthier, start with a small change, like drinking 1 extra glass of water daily. Chapter 4. The Law of Motion. Momentum. Have you ever thought about how once you gain momentum in something, it becomes unstoppable? Just like it is difficult to pedal a bicycle at first, but once it starts moving, it becomes hard to stop. This is the law of motion, momentum. Darren Hardy teaches us in this chapter how momentum can bring extraordinary success into your life and make you extraordinary from average. Imagine you are on a big roller coaster. At first, it climbs slowly and you feel it is very slow. But as it reaches the peak and starts to descend, its speed becomes uncontrollable. This is the magic of momentum. It begins when you make small, consistent efforts, and over time, these efforts become an unstoppable force. Darren tells us that momentum is a compound result of your actions. It does not come overnight, but once you gain it, it leads your life to exponential growth. Think about how much energy a rocket needs to launch. but once it reaches orbit, it requires less energy. This principle applies to your habits, goals, and success as well. Darren explains this concept through a story about Oliver, who always felt stuck in his life. Every time he tried to achieve a goal, he felt he faced many difficulties right from the start. He started going to gym, but quit after a week. He made a savings plan, but stopped following it after a few months. He could not understand why he was unable to achieve his goals. Then one day, he read Darren's book and learned about momentum. He realized that his efforts were failing due to a lack of consistency. He began taking small steps and consistently worked on them. He decided to exercise for just 15 minutes every day, even if he did not feel like it. He started saving money, no matter how little it was. Gradually, these small efforts gained momentum, and a few months later, he was not only fitter, but also had good savings. This is the power of momentum. But to gain momentum, initial effort is necessary. Darren calls this the push strategy. Initially, you have to step out of your comfort zone and do what feels difficult. But once you make it a habit, momentum starts to show its magic. Darren says, momentum is your best friend, but it demands consistency and dedication. Another secret of momentum is that maintaining it is just as important as starting it. Think about a train that is running at full speed. If it suddenly stops, how much energy will it take to get it back to that speed? This is what happens when you stop working toward your goals. When momentum breaks, rebuilding it becomes very difficult. Therefore, Darren says you need to sustain your momentum. He explains that momentum comes not just from action, but also from the right mindset. If you doubt yourself, momentum will never build. But if you believe in yourself and value your small efforts, momentum builds naturally. For example, if you want to lose weight, making drastic changes can be overwhelming. But if you make consistent efforts in the right direction, it creates positive momentum. However, if you repeat bad habits, it takes the form of negative momentum. Darren says we need to be aware of our actions so that we can channel our momentum in the right direction. Chapter 5. The Influence of Influences. Do you know that you become what you repeatedly hear, see, and feel? Your thoughts, decisions, and even your future depend on what influences you. In this chapter of The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy explains how the influence of influences can shape the direction of your life. Imagine you are in a beautiful garden with lush green grass, colorful flowers, and a sense of freshness everywhere. But suddenly, one corner looks dry and lifeless. It turns out that dirty water and trash were thrown there. Gradually, this trash ruins the entire garden. Now think of this garden as your life, and every influence on it acts like that trash or freshness. Darren explains that your life is shaped by 3 main influences: your environment, your relationships, and your internal influences. Understanding and managing these influences is crucial because they continuously shape your subconscious mind. Think about it. If you watch negative news every day, it gradually fills your mindset with stress and fear. On the other hand, if you read motivational books or surround yourself with inspiring people, it gives you positivity and a growth mindset. The impact of your environment is subtle but very impactful. Darren says that if you work in a messy and disorganized room, it will affect your productivity. But if you live in an organized and positive environment, it will give you focus and clarity. This does not mean you need a luxurious office. It means you need to intentionally create your surroundings. But the biggest influence comes from our relationships. Darren explains that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about it. If you spend time with people who always complain, ignore their goals, and make excuses, can you escape their habits? Probably not. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with ambitious, hardworking, and supportive people, their energy and mindset will inspire you too. Darren shares a story about a young man who always performed at an average level. He was easily influenced by others. His friends distracted him with parties and fun. One day, he decided he needed to change his life. He evaluated his social circle and reduced relationships that were pulling him down. He started reading self-development books and connected with people who could help him grow. Within a few months, he achieved success in his career and completely transformed his life. This is the magic of relationships. Darren also emphasizes that influences are not just external. your internal choices are equally important. What you read, watch, and listen to shapes your thought process and behavior. Think about it. If you consume meaningless content all the time, can you expect meaningful results? Conversely, if you consume productive and inspiring content, it will support your goals. Now, the question is, how can you manage these influences? Darren explains it in 3 steps. 1. Awareness. First, it is essential to understand who and how you are being influenced. 2. Intentionality. Decide which influences you want to keep in your life and which to eliminate. 3. Discipline. Consistently implement your choices and align your environment, relationships, and habits. Darren says that the biggest impact of influences is on your beliefs. If you are exposed to the wrong influences, it can weaken your self-belief and confidence. But if you surround yourself with the right influences, it empowers you and makes your possibilities limitless. Chapter 6. Acceleration. Have you ever wondered how some people achieve success so quickly in life? It seems like they're on a fast track, while others are struggling. In this chapter, The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy teaches us how we can accelerate our pace to achieve quick results. It is not just about working hard. It is about working smart and strategically. Imagine you are running in a race with others. Suddenly, you increase your speed and leave your competition behind. People are amazed at how you did it. This is the magic of acceleration. Darren explains that acceleration is not just about physical speed. It is a result of mental, emotional, and behavioral shifts. It depends on your determination and discipline. When you step out of your comfort zone and double or triple your efforts, you can achieve a pace that seems impossible to others. Darren illustrates this concept with a powerful story about a woman who participated in a marathon. She was an average runner with no professional training or exceptional physical strength. But she adopted a strategy. She put in 10% more effort into her practice schedule every day. When others finished practice and went home, she ran for extra minutes. She also worked on her diet, sleep, and mindset, paying attention to small things that could improve her performance. As a result, she not only participated in the marathon, but also finished among the top 10 finishers. This is the power of acceleration. But the question is, how can you bring acceleration into your life? Darren explains a simple principle. Go the extra mile. When you do what everyone else is doing, you remain average. But when you increase your efforts a little more, you become extraordinary. For example, if you want to increase your productivity, instead of just working for 10 hours, organize your work in a smarter and sharper way. If you want to improve your health, focus not only on diet and exercise, but also on transforming your mindset and habits. Acceleration does not mean putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. It means redefining your priorities and focusing on things that will help you reach your goals faster. Darren says that to achieve quick results, both consistency and intensity are needed. If you work hard for just a few days and then stop, you will lose momentum. But if you consistently and focusedly increase your efforts, you will see exponential results. Darren gives another powerful analogy. He says our life is like a slingshot. When you pull it back, it feels painful and difficult, but once you release it, it moves forward quickly. This is a principle of acceleration. You have to push yourself initially, endure discomfort, but once you gain momentum, you become unstoppable. Self-discipline is crucial for acceleration. Darren explains that when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, it accelerates your growth. For example, if you are afraid of public speaking, put yourself in situations where you have to speak. Initially, it may feel scary, but gradually you will become more confident and skilled. When you are in acceleration mode, it is essential to celebrate your milestones. This not only keeps your motivation high, but also signals to your brain that you are on the right track. Think about it. When you achieve a goal and celebrate, how good do you feel? This feeling inspires you to move forward even faster. Acceleration is not just about speed. It is about making focused and intentional efforts in the right direction. It is the power that helps you become extraordinary from ordinary. Darren says, when you push past your limits, you realize they are infinite. So today, decide to bring acceleration into your life. Redefine your goals, set your priorities, and double your efforts. Remember, The secret to achieving quick results lies not just in hard work, but in smart and strategic work. When you understand and adopt the power of acceleration, you will achieve what you never thought possible. So, friends, if you like the summary of the compound effect, please subscribe to our channel Elevatria. Here you will find summaries of self-help and motivational books that will help you improve your life. Like the video, share with your friends, and comment on which chapter inspired you the most. Next time, we will be back with another wonderful book. Until then, give great importance to your small steps and keep moving towards your dreams. Thank you.